Live from Saratoga Race Course. This is the News Channel 13 Big Board Sports Belmont Stakes Special. Sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Marcella's Appliance Center, and the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event.
And a very good evening, everybody. I'm Roger Weiland, and welcome to Saratoga, the historic weekend when Saratoga will host the running of the Belmont Stakes, the 156th running, a $2 million purse, 6:41 post time tomorrow, and a field of 10 and 50,000 people. It's capped at 50,000 tomorrow. It looks like a great weather day, too. So come on out and enjoy. If you're part of it, should see a good race. Here's the field. Let's get to it. The field of 10, and Preakness winner sees the gray for D. Wayne Lucas is on the rail. Morning line 8-1. Belmont has Resilience at 10-1. Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan for Kenny McPeak is 5-1. Leads from post position number 3, the same post he started from when he won the Derby. The Wine Steward for Mike Maker is 15-1. Antiquarian for Todd Pletcher, and the winner of the Peter Pan 12-1. Dornach 15-1. Protective, another Pletcher trained, is 20-1. Honor Marie 12-1. The favorite Sierra Leone for Chad Brown at 9-5, leaving from post position 9. And the morning line second choice is the lightly raced Mind Frame for Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. at odds of 7-2.
When I first started out training, I never thought winning the Belmont at Saratoga would be in the realm of possibilities. But here we are, a very unique situation, at least the next couple of years. So especially when the first one ever in Saratoga would really be the highlight of my career.
I mean, I think it's very exciting for the community. I mean, Saratoga is a horse racing town, and, you know, anytime you bring an event like the Belmont Stakes, it's you can already kind of feel the atmosphere picking up, and, you know, training here in the mornings, you see more people than you normally would this time of year.
Well, exciting for those two trainers. It's exciting for the two guys that are joining me tonight. Two veteran guys that cover the horse racing scene here for 45 years. Tim Wilkin, WNYT racing analyst, writing for Thoroughbred Daily News this summer. And Mike Kane, 45 years, going back to the Daily Gazette for 25 years. And you've been writing for the Thoroughbred Daily News for, 11 years now?
Yes.
So thank you both guys for joining us.
It means we're really old, I guess.
No. And I always say it means we withstood the test of time.
That we were really young when we started out. And we
all of that. Quickly, what does it mean? We heard from the two trainers. What does it mean, Timmy, for Saratoga to host the Belmont Stakes?
It's a historical event. When it was announced back in December that it was coming here, the whole place, the whole town, the whole region got really excited about it. Now it's here. It's going to be run at a 1.25 miles rather than a 1.5 miles. 50,000 people. The tickets were sold in an hour. That tells you how jazzed up people are for this.
Mike, is this you pumped up for this day?
We're used to big racing here in Saratoga. This isn't like having the Belmont at Finger Lakes. We're having it at Saratoga, which is a track that I think some of us locally might even take for granted. People in America really respect Saratoga, so it's a great ad. Even if we're going to only have it here for 2 years, it's the logical place to do it.
Let's get to the field here, guys. And the favorite is, and it would be a good storyline if Chad Brown can hit the winner's circle first in his hometown at a Belmont Stakes in Saratoga, and he is the morning line favorite. It's Sierra Leone for Chad Brown. Lost a pair of graded stakes by a nose, including the Kentucky Derby to Mystic Dan. There's a jockey change here. Flavian Pratt will be aboard on Saturday. Sierra Leone certainly has the 1.25 miles stamina. He's a come-from-behind horse. And listen to what Chad thinks about his 3-year-old.
This horse just has everything you're looking for. I mean, he cost $2 million right across the street at Fesig-Tipton when he was a yearling, and you know, he's got a beautiful pedigree. He's an outstanding physical. I mean, you could literally breed thousands of horses and not get one that looks like this that comes out. So, and then when he got on the track, he just moved so powerfully. Very efficient horse, and he's ultra intelligent. So, again, in my profession, just going through many horses in my 17-year career, he'd be on a very small list of horses that really check all the boxes.
And that's Chad Brennan. And Tim, you were with me that day that we did the interview a week ago, and that horse was sticking his neck out. And you look in that barn, in that stall, and I tell you what, impressive.
Rodri looks like a heavyweight champion. I mean, he's got the whole package. It's his race to lose. I think the only thing that gets him beat is himself, because he has that lugging in problem. Chad has changed. He has an equipment change the bit to make him steer easier for new jockey Flavian Pratt. If he runs his race, he's going to win.
Well, Mike, he ran his race in the bluegrass.
Yeah, that's it. There's ifs with him, as Tim just said. If he runs his race, if he does what he's capable of doing, clearly he is the horse to beat in this race. He went for $2.3 million at auction for a reason. He's a beast. He looks great. The question is, can he turn it in here? Danny Gargan, the trainer of Dornoch, said, if he runs, we're all in trouble. If he runs straight, we're really in trouble.
Exactly. Well, I'm picking Sierra Leone, so I'm hoping that he runs straight. How about Mystic Dan in this race? Kentucky Derby winner, but I will say this: ran the Derby, ran the Preakness. Now you're coming back and running in the Belmont. That's a lot of racing, Mike Kane.
But he's a nice horse, and he has run 2 really good races. I think he's going to be right in the mix all the way. He's capable of being close to the pace and making his run. Don't throw him out. He's a good quality horse.
I know Tim Wilkins not throwing out Mystic Dan.
No, I'm not. I mean, he's a fighter. He'll fight you all the way around the track. Brian Hernandez fits this horse to a T. And, the thing about Mystic Dan is Kenny McPeek took his sweet time deciding whether to run in this race. He wanted to make sure everything was perfect with this horse. He didn't decide till last Sunday that he was going to run in this race, because he is seeing everything that he saw before the Preakness. I don't think the races in 5 weeks is going to hurt him at all. Sees the Gray's doing the same thing, because he's done the same thing, but I think Mystic Dan still has plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, and the thing is, Mike, we all respect Ken McPeek.
He's building a Hall of Fame resume, and people might laugh a little bit about that, but look at all the big races that he's won, including the Travers here, and he did to pull off what he did with Torpedo Anna and Mystic Dan in Kentucky. That hadn't been done in 70 years. That stands out. He knows what he's doing. He's been in this game for a long time. He's had good horses, and they've run well for him.
All right, let's we've hit the first stop break in our show. We'll step aside here, guys. When we come back, veteran trainer Dwayne Lucas will send Preakness winner Seize the Gray to the starting gate at 8-1 odds tomorrow. And then trainer Todd Pletcher has 3 horses entered. Which one has the best shot to win? We'll ask Tim Wilkin and Mike Kane that very question next on our Big Board Sports Belmont Stakes special, live from Saratoga. And welcome back to our Big Board Sports Belmont Stakes preview special. The big race at a mile and a quarter is coming up tomorrow. Let's continue to look at the field. And how about that veteran trainer, Wayne Lucas? He will send the Preakness winner, Seize the Gray, to the starting gate at 8-1 odds tomorrow. Seize the Gray has surprised me in Baltimore when he led start to finish to win the second leg of the Triple Crown. Can he do it again? Well, we asked Todd Pletcher a week ago, and Todd's worked a lot with Wayne Lucas over the years, and he said, I'm not going to count him out. Tim and Mike, are you going to think that Seize the Gray has a shot here tomorrow?
I absolutely think he's got a shot. It's Wayne Lucas. He's a Hall of Famer. I asked Wayne years ago what it was like for him to win these big races at long odds. And he says, I'm paid to steal dreams. And he stole the dreams of Mystic Dan in this year's Kentucky Derby. And I'm not discounting him at all. This is a son of Arrogate who's getting better and better. He might run a big one again tomorrow.
Oh, I'm definitely not throwing him out. Believe me, I'm not throwing him out. I was working with Lucas at the Preakness, and he kept talking about that horse more than just Steel. And he went out and ran the big race. He went out, 88-year-old trainer. This is a great story that this guy has brought his stable back, that people were willing to invest in young horses with a guy who was about 86 at the time when they started buying. Would you do that? Say 3 years from now, let's go to the Kentucky Derby? They did, and here we have a horse that won the Preakness and very well could win the Belmont.
Well, listen, I'm sure that Pletcher hopes that Seize the Gray runs a great race but doesn't win, because Pletcher's got 3 horses in this field tomorrow. Let's get to Todd Pletcher, who we spent some time with a week ago, and let's start, Tim, with Mind Frame, and I love the story behind this.
Mind Frame is the most intriguing horse really in this race. He's had 2 starts. He's won them by a combined almost 22 lengths, and now he's going into the deep end of the pool, running in the Grade 1 Belmont Stakes. He's got a load of talent, and if he were to win this race, people might start calling him a generational talent. He might be that good, but he's got to prove it.
And I like the owner.
The owner,
Mike Rapoli, and Vincent Viola, who owns the Florida Panthers in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, is tomorrow night against Edmonton. That's why Eddie Olczyk on our 5 o'clock news on Friday is picking this horse to win.
Well, he's a hockey guy.
I know.
He's got to do that.
And Vinny Viola will be sitting in Miami watching his hockey team. He won't be here at the race.
I know. All right, Mike, how about Antiquarian for Todd Pletcher?
Well, Antiquarian is an interesting horse because he's been nibbling. He's been showing us that he's a quality horse. He's the son of Preservationist. There's the name, Antiquarian Preservationist, that ran well here in 2019, won the Woodward. He won the Peter Pan, and let's not discount the Peter Pan. The horse that won the Peter Pan last year was Arcangelo, who went on to win the Belmont, the Travers, and we like him.
Yeah, and Wine Stewart in this race and Protective went 2 and 3. And Todd Pletcher trained 12-1 with Johnny Velasquez aboard him. All right, let's round out the Pletcher trio here. Protective, Tim, who is still a maiden, right?
Protective is still a maiden. He might be the best horse in the country that hasn't won a race. He was 3rd in the Peter Pan. He was 3rd in the Wood Memorial. He's got some upside, but I think he's got a lot of downside for this race too. I don't think he's gonna be a factor in this race.
Well,
and of course that means he will.
Right. Predictions sure to go wrong sometimes.
Absolutely.
It's horse racing, right? They say, well, it's baseball, and hey, it's horse racing. Anything can happen. Tyler Gaffleone will be aboard. That horse was 2 lengths behind Antiquarian in the Peter Pan. All right, let's come back and do some history, and you guys love history. And there's some history around the running of the Belmont Stakes, and there is history that ties the Belmont Stakes into Saratoga. And when we come back, Mark Mulholland will have the story, and he'll talk with the guy that is the history in Saratoga when it comes to the Belmont Stakes, Mr. Jack Knowlton. Mark Mulholland joins us next on Big Board Sports and our Belmont Stakes preview live in Saratoga. There is one man who's experienced the sweet taste of winning the Belmont Stakes, right? Same man also knows what it is to come up a little bit short at a time when it seemed all of New York was rooting for his horse.
He's a trainer, Robin's an assistant trainer.
Don't ask Jack Knowlton to choose between his two best horses. Funny Side or 'Tis the Law?
We've been blessed to have two really fabulous horses, New York breds, arguably, the two most accomplished New York breds in history.
Knowlton's Saratoga stable rose to prominence in 2003 when a gelding named Funny Side captivated racing fans, winning the Kentucky Derby.
Funny Side has won the 129th Kentucky Derby!
And the Preakness.
It is Funny Side, and he's heading home!
Before coming up third in the Belmont in front of more than 100,000 New Yorkers.
Funny Side has dropped back to third.
Knowlton's Funny Side continued to be a fan favorite long after retirement. But Knowlton and his partners and their trainer, Barclay Tagg, would get another chance to win the August Belmont Trophy.
'Tis the law. The New York bred is going to win New York's Belmont Stakes.
17 years later, winning the third leg of the Triple Crown that eluded them in 2003. He's believed to be the only Saratogian to win the Belmont, but because of COVID, Jack and his partners didn't get the full experience. They couldn't be there and had to watch it on TV like the rest of us.
There really were no do-overs. Unfortunately, we got the picture and, the trophy, but it just was a crazy time that, it was, something that nobody had experienced before, and we just, went with it.
Jack's excited about some of the young horses he has now, including this offspring of 'Tis the Law. His name is Tiz Dashing, and he'll make his debut at Saratoga this summer, and maybe next year he'll have his owner cheering for another Belmont winner. I'm Mark Mulholland. Back to you.
Hey, Mark, thank you very much. And I love the memories, right? Funny Side in 03, 'Tis the Law in 2020. And I was there in 2003. Tim Wilkin, Mike Kane, we were all there.
We were all there.
That was in the slop.
It wasn't.
That was in the slop that day.
In January of 2003, I was in Lake Placid covering a skiing World Cup, and I had to write my racing notebook for the Gazette. I called Barclay Tagg and said, "Who is this Saratoga?" And he gave me Jack Knowlton's phone number, and I called him up, and Jack knew who I was because I've been writing about horse racing, but I didn't know who he was. He's far eclipsed me as in the consciousness of people in racing. That's for sure. It's been a great story.
And Tim, you remember 2020, right?
I remember
not that many years ago.
I remember 2020, 'Tis the Law, the year of the COVID. One of the saddest things, I think, for Jack and his gang was that when they won the Travers here, they didn't get to have anybody here. The Belmont Stakes, they didn't go to New York. They had a big party over at Pinnell's restaurant outside in a tent, and the whole gang was there watching the race, going crazy. We saw some tape of that, and it was, I think it was an intimate gathering of Saratogas, and they had a blast.
Yeah, they did. Good, great stories to share and great memories, and all headed up by the great Jack Knowlton, who we absolutely love. All right, let's get back to the field, and let's turn our attention now to Bill Mott, who has resilience in this race. So one of our WNYT analysts, John Preachy, is high on this horse. Mike, what do you think of resilience?
This horse could win the race, but it's another big if he can go 1.25 miles. And that's what Bill Mott is testing this horse. He's got great breeding. There's no doubt about it. His second dam is Tranquility Lake. His sire is Into Mischief, the top sire in America. He could be that good, and Bill Mott is that good. We know that.
Won the Wood, right? Won the Wood Memorial, 6th in the Derby.
Yeah, he was well positioned in the Derby, but then in the last 1/8 of a mile or so, he just folded up. He just couldn't finish. Bill Mott's running him back here again to see, can he go 1.25 miles, and we're going to find out. That's the test.
All right, let's go a little rapid fire here, gentlemen. All right, and as we continue to touch on every horse in the 10-horse field for tomorrow, and let's start with Honor Marie. Tim, 12-1 morning line, is winless in 3 starts.
Honor Marie had a horrendous trip in the Kentucky Derby. He ran great the race before that. He has a new rider in Florent Giroux, but his other rider, Ben Curtis, was hurt. Could improve here.
All right, let's go to Wine Stewart. And Mike, I'll let you take this one. Trainer Mike Maker, runner-up as the favorite in both the Peter Pan and the Lexington Stakes.
He's a New York bred, and sometimes people might look at New York breds in big races like this and say, well, maybe not. But he's look at this horse's career. First or second. He's a very capable horse who's figures to be in the mix. Is he as good as some of these others that have run in the Derby? We'll see that, but still, he certainly belongs in this race.
All right, let me stay with you as we wrap this rapid fire up, and that is Dornich. You just wrote a story on, right?
Yeah, Dornich is a horse that may make some noise here. He's the full brother to 2023 Kentucky Derby winner Mage. He started his career here last year, and in this maiden race, he was beaten by Seize the Gray. He's been a horse that did well on lead. They tried to teach him to rate in the bluegrass. That was a disaster. And in the and he drew the rail in the Kentucky Derby. No horse has won from the rail in the Kentucky Derby since 1986. It's not the place to be. He got covered up by other horses. He got no chance to run. He will be out there on Saturday. You can be sure of that.
There you go. Probably not. The people are maybe not going to put some money down on Dornich. Maybe they will after hearing Mike Kane right there. When we come back, speaking of where to place your money, we'll get to some predictions. We'll also get to the distance change and how big of a deal that is and why they can't run the race here at 1.5 miles. That's next on our Big Board Sports Belmont Stakes preview live in Saratoga. I'm Roger Weiland. Welcome back to Saratoga. Tomorrow's race will be at 1.25 miles. Traditionally, when it's run at Belmont, it's at 1.5 miles. A week ago, I ran into Todd Pletcher, and I asked him what he thought of the distance change.
Well, it's a significant difference. I mean, the 1.5 miles is a super stern challenge, but the 1.25 miles might make it even sometimes a little more difficult. In the 1.5 mile race is generally the pace is a little more methodical, and in a 1.25 mile Travers situation like this is going to be with the Belmont, you might see a little stronger early fractions.
All right, Todd Pletcher, agree with what he said there. I would say that this distance would be a much bigger deal if there were a Triple Crown on the line here tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, there'd be a big difference because then there'd be an asterisk if it was a horse
Exactly
going for the
right.
Triple Crown.
Yeah.
But they can't run they can't run the race at a mile and a half here because of the track configuration. It's a mile and an eighth track, so it's a mile and a quarter, which actually might be a more competitive race.
I agree with Tim that there would be some horses that are in this field of 10 that wouldn't be in here if it was a mile and a half because their trainers know they can't go that far. But they can try them at a mile and a quarter and maybe get there.
And a mile and a quarter might be good for Chad Brown. Faster pace out there. And the closer, Sierra Leone. I'll interview Chad right outside the winner's circle tomorrow at about 7 o'clock.
Is the winner.
That's the winner.
So I guess we know
that is my pick.
I guess we know who your pick is.
I've been on that all week, so I know it's the favorite. But I think Chad's got the best horse.
I think he's got the best horse too. Go ahead.
I think he has the best horse too. He's on like a broken record here, but the best horse doesn't always win. And I don't want to pick the favorite. I'm going to try to beat him, and I'm going to go with Mystic Dan. I think that there's something special that's going on in the McPeak barn this year, and Mystic Dan, who's a laid-back kind of horse, all he does is run and run hard. I think he does it again in the Belmont.
McPeak's dog, is he the lucky charm here? Or what?
Sonny the dog is one of the all-time greats.
I love it. All right, Mike Kane, the stage is yours for your pick.
There's no question that Sierra Leone is probably the best animal in this race, but I don't want to pick a horse at 6-5 or less that has to have a few things happen correctly for him. We've learned that through the years. Don't bet on a horse that's kind of injured or maybe he's okay. I'm gonna guess that I'm going to go with Seize the Gray. I think Wayne Lucas, they're going to have to leave from the inside post position, but I don't think he's going to want to stay on the lead. I think he's going to let Dornoch get the lead and sit second or third in that race. I think the old guy gets another win.
That would be some story here tomorrow. Absolutely. If we see D. Wayne Lucas in the winner's circle. It's possible.
It is possible.
He was a tough guy to deal with 20 years ago, but now he's a great old savior of the race.
No doubt, man. A lot of people love him, and rightly so. Mike Kane, thank you. Tim Wilkin, thank you. I'll see you guys up here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you here tomorrow for the running of the Belmont Stakes in Saratoga. Good night, everyone.